All right, hello and welcome. Thank you everyone for holding tight. Here's the thing, 9:05 really is probably a time I can more consistently start, it seems. That's not really a time YouTube offers to me readily. It's like, hey, you can do 9, 9:15, 9:30. It likes 5-minute increments or 15-minute increments, but
quarter
yeah,
quarter increments, quarter of an hour increments.
Now Thomas is claiming it's 10:05, but this is Matthew time.
Exactly. We got to be on Matthew time.
Very important. And
it's afternoon in the Sol system, Joel.
Yeah, Earth Standard Time, Texas time. And I am sorry I started to put some people to sleep because of the extra 5 minutes. I do apologize. So this is one of those like Matthew's being too nitpicky things. I used to be able, whenever we do like, what are they called? Insta chats, super chats. It used to do a little fun audio clip and we'd all hear it and it was really fun, or at least I enjoyed it. And all of a sudden, like whenever my main PC died and I had to switch over to my laptop a couple months back now, it just hasn't come over. And I actually sat down and I'm like, you know what? I got 10 minutes. I can totally figure this out in the next 10 minutes. And I looked up and I was 2 minutes late. And I'm like, well, I was wrong. I was so wrong. Kind of like
what's 2 minutes between friends?
Kind of like I suspect I'm going to be for my prediction this week on War Without End Part 1. We'll see, though.
If you recall, Matthew, you made a prediction for both parts.
That's true.
At my urging.
That's true. And I really, excuse me, I swung for the fences on this one.
You did. I'm
like, you know what? I'm going to be detailed. And I'm going to say that we're going to see stuff coming true. But hey, we'll find out if I'm right in just a little bit here. Or how wrong I am. Just a little bit. Thomas, in Valen's name, you better not skip next week. Yeah, so
you better not.
I have zero intention on skipping next week.
Ooh.
Well, sorry. Everyone hold on tight. We're going for a journey. Yeah, so and that's the thing. I never have any intention on skipping a week. It's just things come up at the last second usually, and like, you know what? I gotta skip this week. Gotta be responsible enough.
But if at all possible, we need to do part 2 next week.
Yes.
If at all possible. You really would lose the narrative if we don't.
Yeah. And you know what? If we can't do Tuesday, I'll try to find some time to make it up before the following Tuesday.
Ooh.
We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. We'll hold you to that.
Please do. Anyway, Jeff, how's your week been?
It's been pretty good. Anna's feeling better. She was not doing so well for a while, but she's here tonight, and I love you. Glad you're here with us, sweetie.
Hey, Anna.
So I'm happy about that. So it's been a good week.
Very good.
How's your week been?
I think it's been good. I can't believe it's Tuesday again. It's just...
I know. Where does the week go?
That's why I'm like, I feel like it was good. Nothing really stands out to me for being egregious. Great weekend.
Oh, I forgot. My football team actually won Sunday. They never win.
Oh, really? Oh, who's your football team?
The Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
I know.
Hey, you know what? You gotta stay true to your home team. I understand.
That's true. You do. And I'm going to always call them the Indians, the Cleveland Indians. They've come back from 14 games back to tie up the division tonight.
Wow.
Go Tribe.
Now, I have zero idea how my Cowboys are doing, but I'm imagining not
Uh,
well.
maybe a little better than my Browns. Maybe a little better. Not much, but a little. Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, just wait until I figure out it's already December. Seriously, Joel. I mean, and this is the thing. Like some weeks I'm like, oh yeah, I did this on Monday, did this on Tuesday, did this on Wednesday. This week is just like, okay, we did our stream on Tuesday. Youth group is on Wednesday night. I'm a leader in the youth group at my church. Work on Thursday and Friday. I mean, so my Amy's having some problems right now with me usually, but in addition to that, just health wise, she has some POTS like symptoms going on. We're trying to figure out what's going on with that. Yeah. So I mean, POTS is one of those things where, since it doesn't affect me, it's one of those things that's like annoying, but isn't necessarily life threatening. But it's exhausting for it just to always be there. And so we're trying to figure out how we can help her out with these POTS like symptoms. Did I swear at any kids last week? I didn't. I did not. It's always a good week when I don't try to say one thing and start thinking of a different thing, and then I combine them, and the combination is unfortunately sounds like a swear. So always a good week when I'm able to keep keep my brain from cross-wiring. So for anyone who doesn't know the story, I tried to tell the kids on a bus once to sit down, but I started to say shh instead, and my everything got crossed, and the unfortunate result is it sounded like a swear word. So I have never intentionally sworn at a child. But we know me and my ability to speak, and accidents do happen. Thankfully, it was just the once, though.
Oh, well, we can forgive you once, at least.
Hopefully, the parents can. That was a couple of years back now, so I don't think well, any parents were too upset.
You're clear then.
Yeah. Marissa
wants to navigate.
Why not watch both episodes of the two-parter tonight? Last night, Omni showed 5 episodes of Voyager. Mazel tov to Omni. I admit that I'm getting older, and I'm waking up a lot earlier these days than I was back in the days of the virtual pub.
I believe it was only 4 episodes last night.
Oh, well, that's hardly impressive.
And well. and we don't, they didn't go into the detail of episode synopsis and just conversation that we do on this show. So we make up for it.
Yeah, with quality over quantity.
Exactly. It was 5, huh? Well, maybe Omni can 5 last night. Okay, I take it back. It was 5.
And the real reason I'm not going to do 2 is I do have to get to bed and then wake up for work in the morning. So we can do 1 episode. But that does mean, anyone here for the first time, I've talked about this before, I've never watched this series before. Every week I go in blind, which means I am going to be so ready to watch next week. I'm always ready to watch next week, but apparently I'm going to be especially ready on the cliffhanger tonight.
I think you will be.
And Josh was saying, did I say the techno mages, or did I say sorry to the techno mages so they won't do anything to the stream? Funny you mentioned that. We got some storms are rolling through.
Ooh.
So we'll see what happens here. I'm honestly not 100% sure on when it's supposed to hit. But I did notice, like, I looked out at sunset and there's just like this cloud bank coming in. Oh, there's 2 tropical storms that could form. But that's off. No, that's off in the Atlantic.
Yeah, they're way out there.
So
Let's see. You do have some storms moving through right now, but looks like they're not that strong. You may have
Yes.
some more maybe in a couple hours.
For my bedtime. So there we go. We'll be
Your
great.
bedtime, yeah. Maybe a little after that. We'll have to wait and see.
Now, at first I thought Josh was saying, oh, go ahead.
Joel says, hurry up then.
Yeah, we will. We will. Okay, so I'm trying to be better about tagging, like putting in chapters once we're done with the stream. I used to be real good about this. And now I like just turn off my computer and go to bed. But I used to, after the stream was done, pull it up and then put in chapters. And I'm trying to do that again. I saw that last week we talked for about 40 minutes before we started the video.
Yes, we did.
Fantastic conversation.
Yeah, we really had good banter last week.
And I love getting this opening time, talking with you, Jeff, reading the chats. Whatever I start ranting about, usually sci-fi related. I try not to get overly political on these streams. Because, speaking of not getting overly political, let's get political for a second. I respect the fact that not everyone agrees with me. But what we can agree on is that we appreciate a good sci-fi series. And so I try to not let the stream get political and only talk about the subjects that are raised in the sci-fi series. Because you're not here to necessarily hear what I think about the president or the latest thing Nancy Pelosi's doing or Chuck Schumer or whoever. That's not why you're here. You're here to have fun and talk sci-fi. So I do try to make sure that is what we talk about. I only try to bring up politics insofar as it relates to how interesting it is that the episode is reflecting modern society. So
Thomas says, don't worry, there will be a stream with nothing but banter.
Oh, really? Is that because I'm going to lose my bet with you, Thomas?
I think that's what he's claiming.
We'll see. We'll definitely see. Hey, if we do, I'm going to have to find some gluten-free drinks for the virtual pub. I know they exist.
Okay. Yeah, there are. I'm sure.
I've actually heard that it's safe for people with celiac to have whiskey because it's distilled wheat.
Oh, okay.
Something about the distillation process gets rid of the gluten in it. I'm like, huh. I did not know that.
Interesting.
It is. I don't know how much I really buy into that. But it sounds interesting, and there's certainly, like, I could go Irish. I could just there's alcohol made from potatoes. Like, there's options. But that's only if I lose the bet about the techno mages and the white.
Personally, I think he's trying to bluff you into just go ahead and doing it before you win the bet.
Yeah, just Matt, preemptively, you've lost. Let's just get this done and over with.
Yeah. Thomas says, what about non-alcoholic beer?
I think that's still made from wheat.
Probably.
Sorry, anytime someone talks about non-alcoholic beer, I can only think of the Simpsons episode with Apu, who it turns out he has like a secret stairway behind a fake case of non-alcoholic beer. And Lisa says, what if someone wants non-alcoholic beer? And Apu responds with, funny, the problems never come up.
Hoodal says, or a nice Bravare from Centauri.
And he says he's still haven't figured out what gluten is, nor what planet it is from. It is the stuff of dreams, my friend. It is where all the good taste of bread lies, apparently, within gluten. And my son, loves to make homemade bread. And so
I love the smell of homemade
me
bread.
too.
Oh,
So he made some delicious smelling homemade bread tonight that mocks me as it sits on the counter. Just waft like steam. A big fluffy loaf of bread, steam rising up from it.
Right.
The smell
right.
filling the entire house. It is a temptation and a half right there. He does not grind his own flour, no. But my brother-in-law, so my niece, so I tell people I am celiac, but I don't know that. But I tell them that because it's a lot easier. Like, they treat it more respectfully than being like, well, I'm gluten intolerant. But because of the Hashimoto's, I can't have gluten. I don't have outward, like, I don't get inflammation in the joints or anything like that. It just slowly kills my thyroid in the background. So, like, I can't have any gluten whatsoever. But it's tempting. It is tempting to be like, you know what? How much of my life am I losing right now? Like, is it going to cost me an hour for a piece of bread? I might be willing to lose an hour for a really good piece of bread. A year? Okay, maybe not a year, but... But my brother-in-law, he does grind his own... Like, he literally got a mortar and pestle and grinds his own rice and some other stuff. Because my niece is 100% celiac. They're about to test her to see if she was, and she put a flour tortilla on her face. Like, she bit out some eye holes and a little smiley mouth and put it on her face. And when she took it off, her entire face had gone red from an allergic reaction.
Ooh.
And we're like, yeah, I think this is somewhat conclusive. This girl, she, not the right spelling, Thomas.
He doesn't look like a celiac.
But no, so he's made his own gluten-free flour recipe so that he can make stuff for his daughter. And I need to get the exact recipe because it's really good. Like, he's made us a few loaves. And I need to like get Aiden onto making this gluten-free stuff.
He says we need the Grisellas to settle the Technobeige bet.
Time will settle it all on its own. I guarantee it.
Time will tell. It always does, as the doctor said.
Hess probably using AI image?
He's probably using an AI image. You're using an AI image to cover up that you are truly a celiac.
Yeah, one of those, what do they call them? VTubers or VR tubers? It's the people who just have an animated face that moves around and
I didn't know that was a term.
I think that's what it's called. A VTuber.
Tashi R-tuber says Omni. VTuber says Trevor Learn.
Okay. I worry about searching for those sort of terms because you never know what you're going to find.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I think I heard about this one word. And it turned out the one you did, but you forgot the context for that one word.
Right.
or knowing me, no, Matthew, you thought of a completely different word and you're just getting things backwards again.
Well, yeah, there is that too.
I need to go on vacation to the Marcab
homeworld.
Marcab. That's the one that got wiped out, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, the the AIDS episode. It's so weird that sci-fi series at this time all had an episode devoted to this. You had the Enterprise episode where mind melding was related to AIDS. You had this one. I guess TNG did drugs. They didn't do AIDS. They did drugs.
Yeah, they did.
Touched by an Angel had an episode about this. You remember that show?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember the particular episode, though. I don't remember much about that series.
It is like one of 2 episodes I remember from that series. And it was, they were at a kids camp. And the Angels get together and like, I don't get it. Why aren't these kids more positive? And then you had like the old Angel and she's like, these kids are positive. HIV positive. And like, dun 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 dun
Wow.
music. And I'm like, wow, that is so over the top.
Over the top, yeah. Exactly what I was thinking.
It was like the Sarah, the girl who does the In the Arms of an Angel for the SPCA commercials. Sarah McLachlan.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to commercials much anymore.
I know the Angel did not say it in a happy, joking way. The Angel said it with the full force of seriousness. But it was weird. It was weird that we went through a time where every TV show had an episode devoted to that. Not Melancholy. They did it with chewing up the scene. Just like, I'm going to put all my acting into this one line delivery. Shaky voice and righteous indignation. Like, how dare you other angels not realize what these kids are going through that I haven't told you that they're going through yet.
Text says, isn't that what melancholy is?
Am I reading that wrong? I thought melancholy was just sad.
I know what I was thinking too.
I might be... Let's see.
Having a Matthew moment.
Let's see. Melancholy, sadness or depression of the spirits.
He says that's one meaning of it.
Pensive reflection or contemplation. Black bile. That last one is not. That last one doesn't really. Black bile. Huh. Yeah, I mean, like that's such a random, like, oh yes, you want to know the definition for melancholy? It's black bile. I need a definition for your definition, good sir. This is not helpful.
Anna says Sarah McLachlan Angel.
Okay. Wait. Was Sarah McLachlan the touch binding? Oh my goodness, this is getting so deep. I am off on a rabbit trail.
I don't know. It's a typical Tuesday night.
Like, this is just getting worse and worse. Okay. Yeah, look, a squirrel.
She's a singer.
Okay, she is a singer. And then touched by an angel. It may come as no surprise to you, but they look the same to me. These 2 ladies. Let's see. IMDb is going super slow. Because why would I want it to go fast? No, I said I didn't want to go down a rabbit hole. Okay, I think the main lady was a woman named Roma Downey. And then Della Reese was the angel who did the line about the kids are positive.
Okay. And Thomas says, didn't Enterprise do an episode like this called Stigma?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. That was the one where mind melding was related to it.
Yeah.
Which was really dumb because they equated mind melding to homosexuality. Which was such a crazy...
Yeah, that was a poor analogy.
It really was. It really was. And actually, I kind of got a Facebook group mad at me they were talking about how Star Trek has always been woke. And they love to quote the line about, was it Turnabout Intruder maybe? Is that the one where they first meet the Romulans? And you have the one guy who...
No, Balance of Terror.
Is that
Balance of Terror.
Is that the very first one?
Yeah. Turnabout Intruder had nothing to do with Romulans.
Okay.
That was the last episode of the original series.
Ooh, was that the one with the Kirk being taken over by a woman?
Yeah.
Oh.
Omni says Balance of Corbomite.
Oh, goodness.
Thomas just has facepalm.
Anyway, there's the lieutenant. We're going to see if I get this name right. Lieutenant Sykes, right? And he's all mad that his grandpa was like killed by some Romulans, and he's Styles. Okay, I got close on that one. Yeah,
you were kind of in the ballpark.
Yeah. So anyway, the line they love to quote is how Kirk gets mad at him after some comment he makes under his breath, and he's like, "That sort of bigotry has no place on the bridge, young man, and you need to get rid of it."
And they're like, bigotry in your quarters.
Yeah, and this is like they're constantly like, "Oh, this is proof that Star Trek has always been woke." And like, yeah, but Star Trek also had the line from Kirk about how I've never trusted a Klingon and I never will. Like, Star Trek was selectively soapboxing whenever the episode required it. Like, let's not give them more credit.
She was on the other foot there.
Yeah.
Kirk's son was killed by a Klingon.
And it was personal.
Indeed it was.
Who now? Be right back. I'm going to go check out the Babylon 5 channel. That's this channel.
You got it. We just haven't gotten to it yet. See? There's the station right up
there. I mean... Okay, so yes, Marcus's name is nowhere close to Strider, but they're the same sort of personality. That's why every time I look at him, I can't help but see Strider. And Joel is saying that was after Roddenberry left. It was always there. Like, it made for a great line in that episode.
It did.
And it is a good line. And it's a good message. I don't think we need to overly praise them for being so forward-thinking when Roddenberry's first cast was like very, very, very white. It was only other people who came in and like, let's diversify this a little bit.
Yeah, they had one Asian in the transporter room.
Yeah. And, I don't want to overpraise anyone. Let us praise the good and recognize the bad in every person out there. Yeah, and the Asian was the assistant. Yeah.
Pushing all the wrong buttons. I don't know about that. Was he pushing all the wrong buttons?
We both know. I'm not going to remember.
He says he launched torpedoes from the transporter room. Well, it sounded like it anyway. It did sound like torpedoes launching.
So, let's talk about this week's episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so...
We could do that.
First of all, I have a couple of outstanding predictions.
Yes, you do.
One of them is really important.
As you mentioned, you were swinging for the fences this time. So you said you thought that it was called War Without End because we were going to catch up with the time-traveling antics that we saw in Babylon Squared. There's one scene in the Babylon Squared where Sinclair shows up in the middle of some big, big fight on Babylon 5. We will catch up with that in this story, you said. With what has been happening, the war with the Shadow Spiders is going to reach a peak, at least a minor one at this time. Babylon 5 is going to be deeply entrenched in true and proper war. We're going to be at the big cliffhanger moment at the end of part 1 where the station will be about to fall, or it looks that way. Then the solution at the second part, that we catch up with Sinclair and he's able to come back in time and kind of pull our bacon out of the frying pan, as you put it, to save the station. It does make some logical sense for the White Star to be damaged, but you don't think this is going to be the moment where the Technomages show up. And you did say that the White Star will be outmatched at some point in season 5 and get badly damaged. The Technomages will come back and upgrade the White Star. This will be, again, late season 5. But you went on to further say, at the end of the War Without End, there will be a stalemate situation where the Shadow Spiders have had their power base damaged from a major victory by the good guys, even enough where they cannot make any more overt moves, and things will move into the background. But the war does not end, and the focus from that point will be the war with Earth. You also mentioned in prior episodes, because Londo has 3 chances to avoid his fate, he will squander the first 2. The third one is where he will redeem himself. And is Morgan Le Fay from A Late Delivery from Avalon Lita or Buster?
And that's a question I'm still wondering. At some point, we've got to have a psychic, telepath. We've got to have a telepath.
Psychic Friends Network, folks.
Yeah, we got to have a telepath back on the show. And I don't think that can be Bester. Bester, he definitely fills that role where just a little bit, every now and then, keeps him a perfect character. In fact, Farscape had a character like this. Did you ever watch Farscape, Jeff?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Are you talking about Zahn?
Not Zahn.
No, not Zahn. Okay. Who are you talking about?
The main... the Peacekeeper, main bad guy.
Okay. Scorpio?
Not Scorpio. Scorpio does come on to... So you had a main Peacekeeper bad guy who was replaced by Scorpio. Like, oh, you thought this... Captain Crace.
Crace, yeah. Omni says Davros, but no, I think he had the wrong franchise there, my friend.
Yeah, definitely wrong franchise. No, Captain Crace. Chris Crace, maybe? He was a character that you just saw every once in a while. And
he became a regular in season 3.
He sorta. So Crichton splits into 2 people, and he's with the second Crichton, or the primary. They never answer that. But so he appears more frequently, but definitely not every episode. Kind of like every third episode sort of situation.
He was there quite often.
And so that sort of character works so well. Or like in DS9, I can get Captain Crace, but I can't think of Kai Wynn.
Kai Wynn.
You just love to see her every once in a while. Played the heel.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful character.
Yeah. Character you love to hate.
Yeah, and that's who Bester is. He comes in, he plays the heel, he has his own agenda out there. Behind. And, sometimes what he wants is what you want, and you work together. Most of the time, you're butting heads. So I don't see Bester being...
Buster.
I don't see
Buster.
being the telepath. But it makes sense for Talia. We've seen her before. She was in the pilot, and she came back. I could totally see her coming back in. Though now we just introduced Bester's love interest, so maybe she'll be LaFay.
Possibly.
We'll see.
Now, did you see the TV guide descriptions for these 2 episodes?
I did, but I've already forgotten them.
Okay. Well, in part 1, Sheridan struggles to find an agreement with the ambassadors of the fledgling alliance to develop a strategy to combat the shadows. Lanier becomes obsessed when Marcus introduces him to a human card game named War, which the 2 play seemingly without end.
Nice.
Ixcha Ambassador, played by John Delancey.
Ha.
So part 2, after Sheridan leads a daring strike against the shadows, that severely damages the White Star, the Technomages reappear, towing the ship back to the station to perform repairs and major upgrades. After playing endless games of their war card game, Lanier and Marcus discover they are in a temporal causality loop. Technomage played by Peter Boyle.
Yes, Omni, I meant Lita, not Talia. There should be zero shock I got that wrong. And yes, the severely damaged. Someone is asking about that up above. Where was it? Oh, rats. I saw it, but then I didn't comment on it. Was it you, Omni?
Probably.
Yeah, okay. Outmatched equals severely damaged? Talking about the White Star. I'm going to say no. So when I'm talking severely damaged, I mean the way Voyager was at the end of Year of Hell. Or the way the Equinox was. Right before they had to abandon it. Like, this is like a stiff breeze could take it apart sort of situation. Whereas being outclassed and beaten back, like it can be hurt, but it could be repaired at that point. You can see that you're going to be outmatched. They're going to get some victories. They're going to be driven back, but they're not going to be like super damaged. So let's go ahead and come to the screening room. I hope that everyone has plenty of time to click on that little pinned comment up there. And hey,
we've
Paperclip.
We've gone about 40 minutes.
Yeah, have we really?
We have. It's 9:41 Matthew time.
Well, let's get going into this. And Paperclip says, didn't know anyone was still watching Babylon 5. Is this a review or live show? So, hey, you have arrived just in time for me to give my usual 3-minute spiel. So the way this works is if you click on the pinned comment up in the chat, that'll take you to the screening room. And that will sync up all of our watch times together so that whatever I'm talking about is what you're seeing plus or minus a few seconds, provided there are no watch issues, no technical issues with the screening room tonight. However, if you're here in the future, I sort of apologize, but not really. The screening room won't work. You have to have your own copy to watch at that point. And there's a lot of ways you can legally do this, and I recommend any one of them. If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch this for free without commercials on Amazon Prime. If you don't mind watching commercials, you can go to Roku TV, or you can go to Tubi TV. And the great thing about Tubi TV is you don't even have to sign up for an account. You can just watch it with commercials. Or best way, in my personal humble opinion, is just to go buy the physical media itself.
There it is.
Right there. You can get them from wherever you like that sells DVDs, that older DVDs. I always mention Amazon just because it's Amazon. It's everywhere, okay? Jeff Bezos, I think he wrecked a small yacht recently, trying to go around a roundabout maybe, so he's got to get a new one. So go support Amazon, why not?
Okay.
Did you see that? I'm pretty sure that, maybe they were making a joke that it was one of Bezos' yacht, but there was a yacht, a pretty decently sized one, that some guy had tried to do a roundabout, and the yacht ended up in the middle of the roundabout.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. Mistakes were made. So many mistakes were made. So the last thing is, if you're here on your phone, you can't pull up the screening room, you don't have a TV where you can watch this or something, we still got you covered. Once every about 7 to 9 seconds, really, there's going to be a clip down below, and that's just going to be a single screenshot of where we are in the video. So this is the first time I have ever watched this paperclip. I'm going in completely blind. I don't even know who the guest stars are. I stopped looking ahead of time. So if there's a really cool guest star this week, I don't know yet.
No, you don't have to worry about that this week.
And I tried to provide live commentary throughout the episode. So if you don't want to hear my voice, you can go to the screening room, you can mute me. I'm not going to be too offended. But I'll provide, hey, what's going on, so that anyone who can only be here for the clips has some sort of context for it. And, that does mean sometimes I miss a crucial sentence or two, but I try to go back by the next week and watch it again so that I can pick up all those fun little details that I might have missed out the first time. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and jump into this. I'm going to give you a quick 3 countdown so that if you're here in the future and you're watching this on whatever media you want to watch this on, you will be able to sync up your watch time to my watch time. So 3, 2, 1, hit that play button, everyone. It's true, Thomas. I do love to talk, especially when people say, hey, listen to this real close.
Look at that.
Okay, so I don't feel like we've seen this planet before, but it does feel...
Well, as the description read, it's the Minbari homeworld.
Oh, I was too busy looking at chat. I kept trying... Centauri kept coming into my head, but the Minbari was who I was trying to think of. I couldn't think of the race name. Oh, and that's the other thing, Paperclip. I am the worst with names. So you will find that I am going to have so many wrong names. Once I say a name wrong, I stick with it just to poke fun at myself. No offense is meant to any of these actors.
Or the characters.
True. This is all poking fun at me as I get the names wrong. Texas, pay attention, Matthew.
Yeah, pay attention.
Okay, so they're told that in the ancient text, there's a prophecy that on this day, and no sooner, no later, they were to enter the sanctuary and open this box. And now's the time. And it says Jeffrey David Sinclair on it. Dun dun dun. And you'll notice on his shirt there, he has the Ranger emblem.
He does indeed. Well, you said Sinclair would be in this.
I did. I assumed it would be later, and it would be a big surprise, to be fair, though.
Sector 14. Babylon 4.
Oh, okay. I do like that they give these quick little reminders for all of us who are too dumb to remember it ourselves. Wasn't that her voice?
It was indeed.
So they're getting activity from Sector 14, which is where Babylon 4 disappeared. And no, I didn't remember. They were kind enough to remind me in the episode. And they heard a transmission coming from Ivanova, apparently, saying that they're killing us. We're being overwhelmed. And at first she's like, well, that's impossible. But the computer confirms that it is 100% her. Okay, in true Texas, it has been 2 years since that episode aired.
Indeed.
And this
Babylon squared.
Yeah, and this was well before the time of instant watching. I was trying to describe this to my kids, and they're like, what? What sort of backwards Stone Age world did you live in, Dad? Like, they understood ads, commercials, ads, no problems there. But the idea that I had to be in front of the TV at a specific time or I wouldn't see the episode was just like... Yeah, the letter was from Doc Brown. The letter was from Valen, right? Like, didn't they say that?
It is very similar. It is very similar to the scene where Marty gets the letter from Doc from 1885.
Jeff, didn't they say the letter was from Valen? They said, I don't know how he knew you'd be here.
Yeah.
Which again leads. They didn't say that. They implied it. Okay, I thought they came out and said it. Interestingly, I feel like the CGI work they do is superior to the green screen they're doing right here.
Yeah, the green screen's a little shaky here. Uh, the frame rate feels like it's like 15 frames per second here or something. It's just not very smooth.
I don't feel like that's an error in encoding or anything.
It's no, I don't think so. Ooh.
Oh, a new Kosh. Vorlon.
A new Vorlon.
And the Mbari guy says he has a feeling that he'll never see Sinclair again. And the Vorlon replies that he is the closed circle. Which leading more into my idea that we're going to see some time travel shenanigans. I mean, we've already started to see some time travel shenanigans with this transmission coming from Sector 14.
Hmm.
So the question is Ivanova's comment about they're killing us something that happened in an alternate timeline, something that happened in the future at this point?
Somebody says, it's a fake. You mentioned that in your prediction.
I did. And I do appreciate the way that they somewhat organically go over this past information. They did this in this episode and last episode with Adira.
They did.
Because this is something like, it's been 2 years. I would very much imagine that this conversation would actually happen instead of, hey, you remember the secret plans that we've gone over 50 times? Well, let's go over them one more time so the audience can be clued into what we already know. And there's that Ferengi-looking guy again.
A lot of people started watching the show in season 2, so they may have missed what happened in season 1.
True. And he's back. And Zach, he's swiping everyone in, doing security stuff, and he looks down. He realizes that the ID is Captain Sinclair or Commander Sinclair,
Ambassador Sinclair.
True ambassador. And now he's not checking IDs anymore. Nope, go along, move along. And one of the reasons they are avoiding Sector 14 is because the last time people went into there, they were hit by some chronoton fields and aged rapidly and died. So it's a somewhat dangerous place.
Yeah.
And Dolores, she's aware that he's here, isn't he?
She is Satai.
So it's tough. She's like, ooh, my ex is here.
Ooh, you really think that, huh?
I don't know. She may have married him in that one episode. Someone maybe got married.
Maybe. Ah, another envelope. Misspelled Dolores, but, you know.
Hey, sometimes people get things wrong.
Yeah.
And Strider here or Marcus, is mentioning how it's been 8 days since the shadow spiders attacked. And Dolores comes bursting in and says, you've got to come with me to the White Star at once. And she needs Ivanova and one other and Marcus. And Paperclip, I have been meaning to watch this series since 2004. That's really the first time it was introduced to me. 'Cause I missed it while it was airing. But I had a roommate in college who loved the series. I never got around to it. So Garibaldi is now 2 hours away from Sector 4.
Ooh.
And he said it's Babylon 3. So
it's coming from Epsilon 3.
Oh.
Zathras!
We know that guy. He doesn't look happy about something. And it's just as Zathras said, not good. Definitely not good. And it's taking all of Droll's concentration to control the Great Machine. But Garibaldi is saying that the time field there is twice as large as it used to be because Epsilon 3 is beaming tachyon energy straight into it.
It's coming from the Great Machine.
But the question is, why is Epsilon 3 sending this out? What is Droll doing? Why is Droll having to spend all of his consciousness to control the Great Machine? And Dolores is saying that, yes, I understand you think that we should be going to Epsilon 3 because that's what's causing the temporal rift to open up, but you gotta trust me. Just come with me to the White Star. Yes, tachyons. That is what I started to say.
Tachyons.
I was looking at the Zathras. I tried to say tachyons. Things went wrong. And Garibaldi, just outside the tachyon field event horizon, here's Ivanova again saying that they're coming through. This is Babylon 5 Earth Defense Station. They're coming through. And Paperclip, that's actually something we discuss frequently, that you don't see this level of effort put into TV shows anymore, where characters are fleshed out with ideals that are often opposing to your own. That modern shows are just kind of a self-insert of whatever the person writing that week happens to believe in. And so if they create anyone to be an opposing view, it's always a straw man. It's never someone who actually has a strong view for the two people to butt heads over. So is Ranger 1 a specific person? Or is...
Yes, you're looking at him on the left.
Okay. That's what I thought. But I wasn't sure if he was speaking like generally like, hey, if you have two Rangers in the room, if you want to know the truth from Ranger 1. But no, so he says the only way to get a straight answer out of Ranger 1, because clearly he spent too much time with Vorlons, is to look at everything he says in a mirror while hanging upside down. And so now it's not just an audio message. Garibaldi can see a visual. I mean, it clearly was disturbing him. I imagine he's having a hard time not going to her rescue.
Garibaldi rigged the fusion reactor to blow. Ooh.
And here come all the shadow spider ships. And Ivanova's right arm looking very useless right now. And that's interesting. Like, how would that affect you? He didn't see Ivanova, his Ivanova die, but he did see Ivanova die. So, okay, Delenn, we're all here. What are we all doing here, Dolores? Is still not answering. Do you trust me, John? And he says, well, what sort of question is that? And she goes, the most important one I have ever asked.
Mira Furlan found this scene difficult. She had a lot to explain in this scene.
I like how she's in a theater type room. Okay. So we're about to get an exposition dump.
Yep.
Which prepping us for the seriousness of the war. I am listening, Thomas.
Listen.
But she's saying what she's about to show them is something that has never been shown outside the Grey Council.
This was 1,000 years ago.
So their greatest star base, their central effort of the war, had been destroyed by the Shadow, and that they were doomed to lose the war. And then, as if in answer to their prayers, a replacement arrived. And it's Babylon 4.
Ooh.
Dun dun dun. And yeah, so Ivanova's saying what I'm thinking, that we always assumed Babylon, or we knew Babylon 4 was taken from time, but we'd assumed it had gone into the future.
It did.
No, the Babylon 4 was, oh, well, true, but then it went to the past. And so she's received 2 additional transmissions from Droll, because Epsilon 3 has been there from the last war, too.
Well, it was there for over 500 years. The Great Machine, that is.
And so they're saying that they never found out who was behind Babylon 4's disappearance. And she goes, that's all about to change right now.
Ah.
And so they're pointing out, because Babylon 4 was there in the past, that when Babylon 4 is made, the enemies, or the allies, the allies of the Shadow Spiders went to go destroy it, because, I mean, the Shadow Spiders were there 1,000 years ago. They knew that Babylon 4 was the thing that caused them to lose. So once it was made, they're like, hey, let's go destroy this so that it can't go back in time to stop us. And then we see the White Star. The White Star was there in the past or future or wherever they're going.
Well, that would have been 2 years ago.
To prevent Babylon 3 from being destroyed.
Babylon 4 from being destroyed.
4. Yeah, sorry, Babylon 4.
It's complicated.
Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. And so that's why they have to be here right now. They have to use the White Star to go into the past to stop it from being destroyed. And I think that was something that happened even in Babylon Squared. That the Babylon 3 was about to be destroyed and then something prevented it. Yes, Hudao. This is now, but that was then, but this is now.
Exactly.
When? And they're saying that if they don't go along with this, they're going to change history, and the shadows will come out of the last war even stronger, which will make us lose the war now.
I love that line. I'll be in the car.
Oh my goodness. They're doing a good job on how this time loop is working. That what they have picked up is a possible future of time is in flux right now. There's two potential realities that could happen. Either the White Star goes back in time, stops the destruction of Babylon 4, which can then go to the past to be used in the war against the Shadow Spiders so that they are as weak as we see them now. Or if the White Star fails, Babylon 4 doesn't go in the past, the Shadow Spiders will still be defeated, but most of their fleet will be intact. And at that point, we're in the timeline where Ivanova is sending out the distress call to after Babylon 5 has been almost destroyed.
You did miss it, Omni.
I did. Joel's saying if most of their fleet is intact, why are they defeated? I guess that they are pushed back enough. More of a stalemate situation.
They didn't lose as badly.
So there's a ship coming from Epsilon 3 with the cargo they need to control the time stream. And what do you want to bet it's also going to have Zathras on there? She's saying that they need to place a device in the central core of Babylon 4, and then they'll be able to move it through time. And there's Zathras.
Zathras has a lot of good lines.
And Sinclair is remembering his interactions with them in the past. Not the one. Not the one. And so now the two time travelers are hitting each other from the opposite direction of their relative time streams.
Kind of like the Doctor and River.
And Sheridan in the background, what? But Sinclair was saying, when you meet me next, it'll be me, but not the me from now. So don't say anything that might change the future. And you see Sinclair going, and Zathras is also honored to meet Sheridan for other reasons. And so Zathras has a list of things from Droll that he's not supposed to say. And he says, on the list of things I'm not supposed to say is anything about one or the one. Oh, you never heard that. And I like that his outfit is like just raccoon tails. A mane of raccoon tails.
Oh, what's his favor?
So Garibaldi, he's been observing it, and he's being told, go back to base. He's not joining them for this mission.
Which is kind of funny. He was already headed there.
And it was Sinclair who wanted that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So
there's good reason for it.
So Sheridan says, okay, I did what you asked. I sent him back, but why? Like, didn't you want to talk to him? And Sinclair says, more than you'd ever know. And there's that low frame rate again.
Yeah.
And so this was the scene that I was referring to.
Yes.
And that I'm assuming, based on what they're putting here together, is that the reason Garibaldi had to go back is because Sinclair saw him at the station in this vision, and so he knows that Garibaldi, according to the timeline, is supposed to be there. And Tex is saying the real reason was that these two did not get along in real life. Oh, really?
They did have a strained relationship.
Oh, that's true, Thomas. Ivanova was also on the station.
She was. And that shot of the station blowing up, that's from Signs and Portents from season 1. The vision that the lady had, the Centauri lady.
So they've all been given a little device to protect them from the tachyon field. That whenever you go through a time field like this, if you're not properly shielded, you can be set adrift with dire consequences. The time warp dance. Let's do the time warp again. Ooh. Yeah, so, Sheridan reaches out and takes Dolores' hand, and then Sinclair looks over and sees them holding hands and has a bit of a look.
He smiled.
Oh, did he?
He had a smile on his face.
See, I thought they had a little bit of an underlying romance developing, and then they kind of had to shift it.
He was in love with Catherine Sakai.
We got to see her only in 2 or 3 episodes, I want to say.
I think it was a few more than that, maybe 4 or 5.
I kind of felt like they were just starting to really develop the relationship with Sinclair and Dolores.
They were engaged. They were engaged in the final episode of season 1.
I meant between Sinclair and Dolores. I kind of felt like they were just starting to develop as more than being just friends. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading too much into that.
Yeah, I never read that into it.
So they come out and they've already spotted the ship coming to blow up Babylon 4.
Yep.
Yeah, Thomas, as usual, you thought wrong.
Listen to these passwords he tries.
So he was hurt because he's like, what? Sinclair is here? Why didn't he say anything? And so apparently Sinclair left him a message, but there's a password to be able to access it. And so there's some small little Shadow Spider scout ships.
Sounds a bit Borgish.
So
cool.
All right, so they give a bit of technobabble for why the White Star can stand up to these ships now. That it's based on Vorlon technology, and it learns, it adapts. So he's trying to guess the password. He guessed Jeffrey, socks, fashion, zip, because that was a conversation the two of them had. And he realizes it's a three friends, or it's 3 words, and the password was "Hello, old friend." And so Sinclair is revealing that he's not coming back from Babylon 4, and he knew that if Garibaldi had gone with him, he wouldn't have come back either. So the Shadow Spider scout ships, I guess, have run off, and they need to stop this bomb. But it's still too far away for automatic targeting, so Ivanova is going to have to manually fire at it. And that they took too long. The device is now within blast, or the Babylon 4 is in the blast range of the device, and frankly, so are they. But they still shoot it.
Boom today.
And John's stabilizer is hit. And he
Oh no.
winks out of existence. He's become unstuck in time. He was warned, but no one listened to Zathras.
No one ever listened to Zathras.
It says it's very damaged. Zathras can never have anything nice. So they're saying that they hope that they can get Sheridan unstuck from time eventually, but the mission comes first. They have to get aboard Babylon 4, and now's the optimal time because the EMP blast the device sent out knocked down Babylon 4's scanners so they can slip in unnoticed. And this is nice. Sinclair has taken command.
Indeed.
Which, hey, I mean, it's nice that he's been sitting in the backseat, that he recognizes that he stepped down, and that Sheridan is the one in charge. But now that Sheridan's gone, he steps up.
This is a switch.
We got the Centauri, and they're beating up Sinclair. Sheridan. An old Londo sits on the throne.
Welcome back from the abyss, Sheridan.
He says, your timing, as always, is quite exceptional. You're just in time to die.
Emperor Londo.
Yes.
Malari.
Oh yeah, he was wearing the Emperor's outfit. Was maybe he wearing an artifact, an eye, perhaps, one eye. Oh, and Sinclair switches to Mbari. And he says, I know what is coming. Are you all right? So you gotta wonder, how does he know it's coming? What was written in that letter?
Hmm.
And he says all his life he's had doubts about who he was, but for the first time, there's no doubts. The path is clear. Is that the one-eye artifact? I don't remember what it looked like.
I don't think so.
And so he's saying that Sinclair or Sheridan is going to be held guilty for his crimes of neglect. That yes, he in his war was able to drive away the shadows, but he didn't clean up behind himself. That the allies of the shadows came to Centauri Prime and wiped it out. Did I say crimes? Crimes. He says, there's the legacy of your war, a decimated Centauri Prime, which, kind of hard to have much sympathy at this point in time, crying that his planet was decimated after the Centauri orbital bombarded the Narn homeworld. I mean, yes, Omni, climbs are worse than crimes.
Indeed.
and Sinclair says, I need Lanier on the bridge. Can you get the equipment up by yourself? And Zastra says, yes. Zastra is used to being beast of burden.
Very sad life. Probably be a sad death.
And that to be continued.
Dun dun dun.
To be continued. Well.
Did that whet your appetite?
It did.
Part 2.
It did. I have questions. That
I don't know how many of them I can answer.
You can't. You can't answer. That's a whole. That's a problem. Yeah. You can't answer them.
Okay.
We're gonna have to wait till next week to really start getting some answers.
That felt short. I think he's saying there should be more.
Thomas, I agree with you though. Okay, you're saying you wanted the second part, fair, but I agree with the sentence all the same. The episode felt short. Like they've done a great job keeping the pacing, where it doesn't feel like we just watched a 45-minute episode.
Oh, we did.
We did. It felt more like a 30-minute episode.
It was a typical length, 44-ish minutes.
It definitely was. Yeah, I get that. We all want part 2, but we're going to have to hold out. We're just going to have to hold out. Next week.
And I do agree with Omni. You missed quite a few lines that are important. So you'll need to go back and rewatch this episode for sure before next week.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Always. I'm always missing important lines, but I definitely go back and watch each week. So
this was a very layered episode. So please do make sure you go back and rewatch this one in particular. I know sometimes you'll miss and you'll watch 2 or 3 in a row to catch up again.
I need to watch it so I can be prepared for part 2.
Indeed, you do. And I probably will rewatch this again, even though I've seen it probably a half dozen times, at least.
I sure I'll forget everything.
Gets a part 2.
Hey, William. So this episode, the major story beats they covered is that we are in a split timeline situation where both timelines exist in Potentia. They're equally valid timelines where things can go down the good path, where Babylon 4 gets sent back in time, is used in the war 1,000 years ago, which allows the Shadow Spiders to be largely defeated such that they are in a weakened position. Because as dangerous as they are right now, this is their weaker form. The bad timeline is Babylon 4 gets destroyed, isn't sent back in time, and the Shadow Spiders are still defeated, but not nearly as badly, and so that they're able to, in the background, rebuild up a much more significant portion of their fleet, have basically their main fleet back, which just completely changes the outcome of our universe. There's a timeline where my prediction is correct. I don't know if there's enough timelines for that to happen.
Well, you never know.
It's true. It's interesting, and how right and absolutely wrong I was.
I'd say you got quite a bit right this time.
I talked about how we're going to come to a turning point with the spiders, and they're going to be beaten back. Because it doesn't make sense for the spiders to not be the main villains going forward. And I'm right, but I'm 1,000 years wrong in that prediction.
Are you? Are you?
Yeah. So in the bad timeline, we're at war with them and we're being overwhelmed by them. But in the timeline that we're existing in up till now and that we very much want to stay in, we're not being attacked by them yet. Okay. Let's keep swinging for the fences here.
Okay.
I'm going to lay out my part 2 prediction.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay.
So my part 2 prediction is that we're going to have a classic... I can't think of a good example for where this happens, but it's a classic dual timeline trope where the events in the past are happening simultaneous to the events in the present. And that as the events in the past happens, it's affecting what you're seeing in the timeline. So we're going to see our Babylon 5 in the here and now being attacked by the Shadow Spiders. And the thing that brings us victory ultimately is what the White Star does in the past, weakening the Shadow Spiders. Because otherwise Babylon 5 would be destroyed. So I think that's where we're going to see this war without end kind of happening. That we're almost, gosh, how many timelines are we going to be in by the end of this? So we're aware of 1,000 years ago. I don't think that we're going to see that happening. I think instead what we'll see is that as they do things on Babylon 4 6 years ago, that no. I'm not changing my prediction. I'm refining my prediction.
His original prediction stands, but this is a new one based upon new information he has.
Yeah. Okay, fine. It's a little bit of foul, but I'm going to make this prediction anyway. That, okay, so based on what's happening 6 years ago, we're going to see them trying to set up this device on Babylon 4. They're going to fail, or they're going to have a moment where, whoops, we lose the device. And as the device is lost, here in the present, by our time stream, all of a sudden Babylon 5 starts getting attacked. And so you have them trying to rectify that mistake. And once they do rectify it, things go back to the good timeline. Hey, John.
Welcome, John.
Meanwhile, you have... So that's the two timelines going on. You have 6 years ago on Babylon 4, here and now Babylon 5. Meanwhile, you have what's going on with Sheridan. And I think what we're going to see with Sheridan is that he ends up doing a little bit of time hopping, in which he sees key events that his knowledge of will allow him to make a better future. So we just saw in this episode that he wins the war with the Shadow Spiders, but he failed to clean up after them. And because he failed to clean up after them, the allies of the Shadow Spiders attacked Centauri Prime. I think he's going to be able to use that knowledge such that when all this is said and done, he can do the cleanup work and protect Centauri Prime. And I say all this is said and done. Frankly, it's probably going to happen before that. And him being able to clean up things will probably be what actually gets the Centauri Prime, or the Centauri, on his side in the long term. So I think that he's going to kind of be bouncing around. Intriguing. Seeing, yeah, he's going to be seeing this is how bad things could get. So he's basically getting to see the prophecy from the other direction, where with Londo, he was told, here's three chances you get to change your future. Instead, we're going to see it being like, hey, I see what the future is. I need to change that future. And to change it, here's 3 things I need to do, for example. It'd be cool if they did 3. I'm not necessarily saying they're going to do 3. I just think that'd be cool.
I like your ideas. That's very, very good, Matthew.
Yeah, Thomas, I just kicked a game-winning field goal, but now I get penalized for too many men on the field, and now it's kind of dismissed.
Have to re-kick and you miss it.
Yeah. But so it is interesting that there are things that I predicted where I can see how they were referenced, but they weren't necessarily done. Like we saw Garibaldi and Sinclair, and that I'm still going to hold out. That prediction stands. So we'll see if I'm right in part 2, if Sinclair gets that moment with Garibaldi. Which it could. If we're doing the dual timeline stuff, I could very much see Sinclair having that moment with Garibaldi.
Josh says, now that you've broken the rules, you have to give us 2 episodes next week.
I don't think so, Josh. So anyway, Jeff, your thoughts about this episode? It's tough. Say what you can without spoiling next
this
week.
is tough because it is a 2-parter, and you haven't seen the second part yet. Most of our audience has. John hasn't, and I know that Patrick hasn't either. So what can I say? Sinclair's back. I love Sinclair.
Yeah.
It was good to see him again. He's taken charge. It's good to see that, and he seems full of vigor. Maybe more so than we ever saw in season 1. He was kind of a little more laid back, I think, in season 1 than we see him here. He's right up front, taking the center seat when he needs to, taking command. So I like that. We get Zathras again.
We do?
I love Zathras. Is it Zathras or Zathras?
Oh, we both know. I don't know.
Or is it Zathras? But I love Zathras.
So let me ask
Sorry,
you this.
I couldn't resist that. Yes. Yes.
With Sinclair, in real life, I saw him in today's episode, and I couldn't decide if I was letting my knowledge of what was actually happening in his life jade my perception of him right now, where he looked healthier in tonight's episode, more present. And I'm not sure if that's just how they were having him act, and he was doing a good job acting, or if he really had started to get his life back on track, and he was able to be better.
I think it was a little bit of both. His character, Sinclair, changed since we saw him last at the end of season 1. And the actor, Michael O'Hare, he has been away for acting for about a year and a half now, close to 2 years. So he's had time to rest, get help for his mental condition. And I think he was more refreshed and stronger, able to do these scenes with more vigor. As Omni said, he was so tired and beaten down when he was doing season 1. That's why he stepped away from the show. That, and he didn't want the show to be delayed and have people lose jobs because the series is canceled. He said, I can't do this. I don't want you to wait for me to come back. You're going to lose the show. So continue on without me. And JMS, for all the characters, he had an escape clause and was able to bring in a different character, in this case, Sheridan, to take over. And Sheridan is not a Sinclair replacement. He's his own character.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. So I like how JMS constructed all this. But yeah, this is a great setup for part 2. We get a lot of exposition, but I think it was very well done exposition. Dolores had a big scene there. And as I mentioned, Mira Furlan, she found that scene very difficult to act because there was a lot of things that she needed to say as her character. We did have one Star Trek actor in this. The Minbari that came and talked to Sinclair at the start of the episode, Ratheen, he played a Cardassian in TNG, The Wounded. He's the one that shares the drink with O'Brien, Darrow.
Okay.
So we did have one guest star that was a Star Trek actor in this. What do you think about these notes that Sinclair and Dolores got? Where do you think they came from?
Okay, so beginning of the episode, I was operating under the assumption that it was going to be Sinclair's doing. That as he jumped around through time, because we did see him in Babylon Square, that he has done some time travel stuff. And my assumption was that he went back in time with Babylon 4 and wrote these notes to be delivered. Now I suspect that we're going to find out it's Sheridan. That is, as Sheridan bounces around, he's going to leave some notes. And honestly, that makes a little bit more sense because maybe I misheard the line, entirely possible. But I want to say that when they delivered the note to Sinclair at the beginning of the episode, they said something about it being 100 years ago. And 100 years ago wouldn't match up with the timeline for the last war. And I don't feel like that would match up with the timeline with it being... I said his name at the beginning of the episode and now I can't... Valen. I don't think that would match with Valen's timeline. Did they say...
Omni did say 1,000, or Omni is correct. They did say 1,000.
Okay. Never mind.
Over 900 years ago. I think you're right, Malphus.
Okay, that would make more sense then. I'm still going to stick with this prediction that it's going to end up being Sheridan, who has become unstuck in time, getting to leave these notes behind. Unstuck in time, like The
Unstuck in
Visitor. Paramount.
They did it again. Now, did you notice in the future scene with Sheridan and Londo, Sheridan's clothing was different?
In the future scene between Sheridan and Londo.
Sheridan's clothing was different than okay.
And he looked older.
He did look older.
So
which kind of indicates that he's jumping forward in his timeline. He's kind of like quantum leaping, if you will, into his own future.
Nice reference. Yes. Yeah, and I did notice that, and I wanted to go back and rewatch that part specifically because the initial exchange they have, I wasn't able to pay enough attention, but it did almost strike me as if Londo was annoyed, as if like, what are you confused about? Like, what are you talking about? You know, the way anyone might be if all of a sudden you were to jump into the middle of a conversation and be like, I don't know what we're talking about all of a sudden. Like, what do you mean you don't know what we're talking about? We've been having this conversation for an hour.
Well, I think he just had regained consciousness because Londo says something like, "Welcome back from the abyss, Sheridan."
Mm-hmm. Okay, now I had thought that was more to do with time jumping.
But if he wasn't there to begin with,
yeah,
then I mean, you would think they'd be surprised. Where did you come from? Instead of "Welcome back from the abyss" type line.
Sheridan has to return the Infinity Stones. It could have been, yeah, maybe he passed out. Like the longer the scene went on.
Go ahead. They were torturing him, so.
The longer the scene went on, the more I started to reject the idea that he had like just zapped into that moment. Because I did notice like, oh wait, he's definitely got a lot more gray in the hair. It looked like they had done some wrinkle sort of stuff on his face.
Yeah, they definitely aged Sheridan for that scene.
So yeah, I think we'll see him. Like, I could definitely see there being 3 plot lines that we're following through. We'll have the main plot line of them having to go through Babylon 4 and get things set up. We're going to have a secondary plot line of how what they're doing on Babylon 4 is now affecting the time with Babylon 5. And then I think we're going to get little sprinkle moments of Sheridan kind of hopping through time. And it hasn't been quite long enough, but it would be kind of nice to have a moment where between him and Kosh, where he gets just one more moment to see him. But frankly, it just hasn't been enough time to have the same sort of resounding emotional impact. Like in Farscape.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see where you're going with that.
There was the character you mentioned, Zan. She had to go off the show because she got cancer, and the blue makeup that they put her in. It's hours and hours and hours.
Oh, it was also, she was like allergic to it. She went, she wore it for 2 years before leaving the show. And just kind of grinned and bared it, but it got too much for her.
Yeah, it really did. And it was so negatively affecting her health. And so she left. They killed off her character. And like a year and a half later, something like that, they had an episode where she made a reprisal of her role. And it's a very sweet moment. But that's the sort of time difference you need. Really. Like, for all I know, he's still going to have a moment with Kosh, but it wouldn't be the same sort of emotional moment where like, oh my goodness, we haven't seen Kosh in forever. But we did see a new Vorlon.
We did.
So I'll be curious to see if we see more of that individual in the future.
Now, the same voice actor voiced this Vorlon as Kosh.
Okay.
JMS was standing outside the booth that he recorded his lines and told him how to say them, basically. Told him how to inflect his words and that sort of thing. So it sounded a little bit different, but it was still the same actor, Adwit. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name.
And Hoot Owl is saying that JMS once made a comment, "I hate time travel in stories." Is that true?
Generally speaking, yeah, that he tried to avoid time travel as much as possible in the show. He didn't want it as a crutch. He felt that Star Trek did rely on it too much. It was, every fifth story was some time travel bit or so, especially when you got to Voyager. But
early season Voyager did have quite a few time travel.
Ardwit is his last name. Ardwit.
Okay.
Ardwight.
And I feel like we got some great episodes because of Star Trek doing time travel stuff. City on the Edge of Forever.
Oh yeah, some of it's classic. Some of it's very well done. Time's up, says Sean.
City on the River. Yeah, that's the Matthew working title.
Oh, that's what William Shatner called it at the convention. City on the River.
So it's not just me.
All he could remember it. No, well, that's the only episode he could remember the title of, and that's what he called it. So he got it kind of close.
There's one episode where you thought it was going to be time travel, and then it wasn't. It was a good data-centric episode where some alien species had wiped out the crew of the Enterprise's memory, and everything was slightly wrong, like Beverly Crusher's clues. Yeah. Yes. For a second, I thought you were saying they were clues. I'm like, yeah, they were clues. I'm like, oh, no, yeah, they're the episode title. Yes, clues.
Yeah. It was both, actually.
But I like that one because you thought it was going to be time travel, and then it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
All good things, yeah.
That was well done.
The episode with Worf.
Yeah. I mean, Picard was jumping around in time, or was he?
The episode with the Enterprise B? C. B.
C. Yeah. Yes, yesterday's Enterprise.
The episode with the Pips, where that was the final clue that they're trying to decide what to do. It was a self-destructive, a self-destructive time loop.
John says the Enterprise B episode arrives on Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it is Tuesday, John.
Yeah, it is. Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Okay.
One of these days, I've got to sit down and look at all the different time travel episodes throughout Star Trek. Because the timeline for Star Trek is so fun. Like, even before you get to Enterprise, they had like an entire different timeline. And I'm not talking about the triple timeline, Thomas. Hold on. Like, they actually talk about the Time War, where because some species has gone back in time, it had created a divergent timeline that they've been working on. And once the Time War was concluded, it got them back onto the right timeline.
We're on the right track now to New Vertiform City. I did find it interesting that the Minbari have some sort of time travel technology, although they don't have much mastery of it. That was mentioned in the exposition scene by Dolores. They don't have anything like the Great Machine on Epsilon 3.
Mhm.
And did you think that Sinclair was Ranger One or the head of the Rangers?
I thought we had talked about this in the past.
Okay,
thought
I wasn't sure if you knew that because you were a bit surprised by the Ranger One line that Strider had.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if he was calling him Ranger One, because I was thrown off because he said if you want. I misheard the beginning line. I thought he said if you want a straight answer from a ranger,
Okay.
then, or if you have more than one ranger in a room, like I misheard the opening thing. So I thought he was making a joke, like if you have two engineers in a room, you're gonna have four opinions, sort of thing.
He definitely said Ranger One Omni.
Yeah, I 100% misunderstood the startup of the line.
Welcome back, Mercer. You'll have to pay attention to that scene again when you rewatch.
I pay attention to it all. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much. It's so layered and so deep, this episode. It's so well written. I wish we got well written stuff now.
I do too.
Oh,
I really do.
Imagine how good Star Trek could be. Instead, we got what we get.
And I feel like I've said this before. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the problem they have is that they are ill-equipped to write a not episodic, what's the other one, a serial.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to write a story over multiple episodes. And so even though each season is 8, maybe 10 episodes long, they have an idea that could last maybe 2 episodes, really 1. And they're forced to put this into an 8-episode long event. And so what you end up with just bloat. You end up with these random things that go nowhere. You often, like especially with New Trek, you would have a plot brought up. The plot would get resolved in episode 3. You'd have episode 4 and 5 doing nothing, and then a new plot brought in to quickly wrap up the season. And there was just enough connection where you'd, for a minute, think, oh, okay, they had this whole thing going from episode 1 to 8. And then you'd watch it again, and you're like, wait, no. The information revealed in episode 8 can't work based on what you know in episode 1. So, like, these are two disconnected events. And so I do feel like if modern writers just accepted that they need to get the work under their belt, and you start small, and they need to start on a single episode. Let's make one episode with a self-contained plot, and you cut your teeth on that, and you prove that you can do it. Then you can start talking about doing a season-long event.
Yeah. I agree with you. But we need better writers because they're just writing soap opera type stuff right now.
We do. Opinion. Yeah.
They're not sci-fi writers.
They're not even soap opera writers. They are people hired off DeviantArt and making fanfics. And I wish I was joking about that.
That's a good description.
For kids shows, what was a series called Steven Universe?
I've heard of it. I've not seen it.
The person they put in charge of that literally went to DeviantArt and hired people from it. And they I like your art style, and they ran with that. And then they also had like a lot of like if you ever watched like a true breakdown on the people who made this series, they had a lot of perverse ideas, and they really tried to push that on kids. Like the one of the head writers, if not the head writer, like got caught in a scandal where he was sending an inappropriate message to minors. And then you find out that like one of the main aspects of the show was supposed to be this allegory for sex, and it's like this is the quality of writer you have right now. Like we need the Harlan Eliasons. Let's get them back.
Would be nice.
DC Fontana.
Mm-hmm.
Get them all back.
That level of writing, yeah, that's what we need.
John DeMarco, if I messed up the name once, I'm sure not going for it twice. I thought I pronounced it right.
Oh, are you looking it up?
Harlan. Did I say it right? Harlan Eliason? Is that not how you pronounce his last name?
Ellison.
Ellison. Okay, so I was reading it right in my mind. I saw his name correctly. I just mispronounced it.
I was just going with it, Matthew.
Yeah, Tom, so I am slandering the good people behind the groundbreaking, award-winning Strange New Worlds.
Funny radiation at work. Poor Thomas. Yes, we do hope you feel better soon, Thomas. I agree with you, John.
And you know, Hoot, I agree with you partially that the skill was abandoned and it wasn't cultivated. And this is a big thing, Thomas, that may have been a quote of mine. That is a big thing that I believe in the current workforce, that we are damaging future workers by being so work at home, by everything being remote, because there's a certain level of experience you gain by being around experienced people, that you can go out to them and you can interact with them and they can teach you. And you have those water cooler moments where you're sitting around, you're getting a drink and you talk about, oh yeah, I'm having this issue. I can't figure out how to price this thing. I can't figure out, how to do this programming thing. And they go, oh yeah. I had that same problem. Here's the answer. And you cultivate them. And by not having that sort of work environment anymore, we are worse off because we've abandoned it.
I thought that was why we have Zoom meetings, and you have your coffee as you're drinking and you're having the Zoom meeting, and you don't have, you're in your shorts, you're not in, your work pants.
So
that sort of thing.
So not the same. Yeah. But
you mean it's not the same?
No. But I do think we can actually get it back. I don't think that we have lost so many experienced people. Like we've lost some true gems. But I don't think that we've lost so many people that we can't course correct. And
we
I
can
also
definitely
think,
course correct.
I also think that even if we get to the point, let's say another 20 years, and all the people from that were making episodes in the 90s, the JMSs of the world, they die off. I think even though we'd be worse off for a while, that eventually we can learn to cultivate good talent and writing back in. So I don't think we can't get it back. I do think it's
cause.
Yeah, it's just going to take effort. And it's tough because we're at this point where we see a little bit of course correction happening, where more and more, like, Disney's hemorrhaging money, just hemorrhaging it. And they're realizing, hey, maybe it's not a really great viable business strategy to make every movie center around the idea that we need to preach at our target demographic.
You hit on it there, I think.
Yeah, because that's what you see right now, right? Like, it is the mindset that our target demographic is bad. We need to preach to them. And if you're sitting there,
get the message out.
Yeah. if you're sitting there and all of a sudden, like, you start getting disciplined by your boss, like you're working hard and your boss starts yelling at you and screaming at you, and you're like, I'm doing none of the things you're mad at. Eventually, you're going to leave that company. You're like, you know what? This is a toxic environment. I'm out of here.
Very true.
Like in football, they recently got rid of in the end zones, right? I think it was they had Black Lives Matter or something, and the NFL was finally forced to get rid of it. And you sit there and you're like, why do you feel the need to have this in the end zone? You're basically saying that you think that your average viewer is racist and needs to be taught to not be racist, and you think you're somehow going to accomplish this by putting Black Lives Matter in the end zone. Like,
Thomas says they still have it.
Oh, do they still have some of that?
And you still have the Black National Anthem being sung?
Now, I did see they try to do that in or there's a baseball game where they try to do that, and afterwards the crowd just started to sing the national anthem on their own. They're like, we're not doing this. And the teams actually came out of the dugout for it to support the people. And that's the thing, like, you can't treat your target demographic like they're evil. That's just not a winning strategy.
I agree.
Especially when your target demographic isn't evil. Like, the average football watcher isn't some, living in his basement troglodyte, keeping his wife chained to an oven, has a whip hanging from his doorpost because he just hates all black people. Like, this is not your average watcher. And the more you treat them like that, the more you radicalize people, I think.
Thomas, he clarified. He says that the NFL has to have a message in the back of the end zone. He just doesn't know how many of them are Black Lives Matter.
That's a very specific description. It was, John.
I was wondering where all that came from.
I was just thinking about the most stereotypical arrangement I could, and that's what I came up with.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to know that I'm not evil because I do watch football.
Right? Or baseball, or like...
Or baseball, yeah.
Or NASCAR. I mean, it's just so dumb. It's so dumb. And let's say your viewers actually were that evil. Like, this isn't how you're going to win them over.
No.
I can't stand it.
Wait, we got
what I can
a long way from Babylon 5, didn't we?
That's what I was saying. What I can stand is Babylon 5. See, I try to tell you, I try not to get too political, but then stuff like this happens, and here I am.
No, there you go. It's the way it goes.
But see,
on the
like
Life with Matthew channel.
Hopefully, even though I did get a little bit political, you can agree with that. You can say, you know what, I do believe that we need to do more Black Lives Matter stuff, but I agree that the way we're doing it, this isn't an effective strategy. You got to find something better. Or maybe you're on the other side and you're like, yeah, I think that all lives matter and I think we should get rid of this. Hey, we can find common ground.
There you go.
Yeah, I need to get my Ministry of Peace armband.
Good point, Hoot Owl.
Yeah, Texas. And if they really are that evil, they're just not going to care. Like, you've got to find a better way to reach.
And that's an excellent point.
Okay, we're gonna go a little bit more political. Okay.
Okay, hang on to your hats, folks.
You got to find a better way to communicate, and I think we lost a really good communicator for that in Charlie Kirk. So a couple weeks ago, obviously Charlie was killed, assassinated, and I think that whether you agreed with him or not, I think that we can universally recognize that the idea of I'm going to go somewhere and I'm going to hold a conversation with someone, and not just a conversation with someone. He had a rule where if you disagreed him, you got to come to the front of the line, because he wanted to specifically talk to you, because he believed that when communication ends, violence begins. And so regardless if you're left wing, white, right wing, liberal, conservative, libertarian, I don't care. Like, the idea that the way to change minds is through communication of ideas. Like, I think that's something everyone should be able to get behind.
Would hope so, but I don't think everyone will.
No, unfortunately not. There are people who were heckling him heckling his funeral at his memorial service, talking about how glad they were that he was dead and how he was an evil Nazi. And
there were literally thousands of videos on the internet like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, and it's sad because what you end up seeing for those videos is that people who thought he was a racist guy, and they bring up that he wanted to end the Civil Rights Act. Well, no, he didn't. There was one video where he mentioned the Civil Rights Act where he said what it has become is antithetical to what it was created for. And he said, I am a big supporter of why it was created. I do not support with what it is being used for today. And when you listen to the full quote, like there you go. That's the answer. But so many people have it in their minds that they want to hate this guy. And like Chakotay said, it's a lot easier to start hating someone than to stop.
It's true.
Yeah, Thomas,
or was that Chakotay B?
Yeah, it was Chakotay B. Stephen King did not apologize for making false claims. Stephen King made a non-apology. It's where he's like, oh, I've gotten in trouble, and I guess I'm sorry I got in trouble, but I still don't like the guy. Like, it was the episode of Ed Mercer, the Orville, where they had the social buttons.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The guy who had to go on the apology tour. That's what Stephen King did. He's like, oh yeah, I guess I'm real sorry. I did this thing. I'm really broken up about it. And like, he doesn't care at all. He's just trying not to get his mind wiped. That's what happened with Stephen King. And Joe, that's a totally valid stance. You don't have to be racist to have bad opinions. And you can 100% disagree with the guy. I disagree with him on stuff. I think that he clearly believed that one of the best ways that he could get the message of Christ out was through political discourse. I disagree with that. I think it's great to do political discourse if that's your thing. If you want to go be a missionary, I think there's probably better ways to be a missionary than engage in political discourse. But that's the great thing. Like, you can have a difference of opinions.
That's how ideas start.
Yeah.
Matthew's thinking of an episode. Says Thomas, look at the smoke coming from his head. That's pretty cruel, Thomas.
Joel, I would disagree. I would encourage you that whatever statement you think he made that was supporting genocide, you go and look at it, because he was not a man who was in favor of genocide. I imagine you might be talking about maybe some of the Israeli-Palestinian stuff. Look into it more. Look into what he actually said and not just the clips of what he said. Like, does that different? Like when someone gets up there and like, oh yes, so-and-so said this thing. They're about as reliable as me with names. Okay. It's just not accurate. They have a position, they're cherry picking and stopping the clips at certain points so that they can make their position look good, his position look bad. Listen to his full thing. A lot
with him.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of hours of videos to sort through. You're not going to find him supporting it. You will find him being sassy. You will find him being sarcastic. You're not going to find him supporting genocide. And that's one of the things. Yeah, Joel, send me the link. You send me the link where he is supporting it. I will gladly eat my words. But I've seen a lot of what he had to say, and it was non-support of it. And when you see the full context, the entire conversation, and not just a 5-second long clip, that's not what he was doing.
Or even sometimes a minute length clip.
But by all means, send me whatever link you got. But like I said, I try not to get too political, and the point of me bringing him up was simply that we need to encourage discourse. That the best way of changing minds isn't by preaching at people through a TV screen, is through going and engaging in one-on-one conversations, or even group conversations where you're talking one-on-one. Like these people who go out and do these things, like me getting up here and making a video, and I'm passionate about it. Oh, I'm on fire about it. And I send it out on the web. That's not effective. It's just not. Even a conversation back and forth like this in the chat, it's not going to be super effective, because anything I say, like, I get unlimited talk time, but you're having to type it out. So we can't have a super great dialogue back and forth. It's better than a video and comment sections, but still not great. The best
and you're
way...
limited by the length of what you can type as well.
Yeah. The best way is to have one-on-one conversations. And that's honestly why I stopped doing so much stuff on Facebook. I used to be a lot more active on it, and then I stopped because I realized that, yeah, please do, Joel. Send me those links. I stopped doing Facebook stuff because I realized this was pointless, that no one was listening. Everyone was just screaming, and you had 50 people trying to respond to one comment, and that wasn't dialogue.
Right. Same problem with X Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. Gorilla, tell that to Salty. How you doing tonight, Gorillas? But hey, Babylon 5, I really enjoyed this episode. I wish we had more writers like this. I wish this is one of the things that we first talked about early on with JMS. JMS was a atheist, and he had an episode where he showcased the different religions of each of the major races. And when he came to Earth, he did a very respectful job of showcasing the different religions there. Yes, modern writers can't do that. Modern writers do not have the ability to look beyond their own position and state someone else's position in a rational manner. And I wish we had more of that. Oh, what's on my shirt, Thomas? Darth
Vader.
Can't
disagree.
It says, how to be a better father. Tips and techniques from the dark side of the Force.
That's very good. I love that.
And Joel,
I have my Shadow shirt on tonight. I thought that was
nice.
Appropriate. Yeah, I thought it was appropriate.
And Joel, it probably won't let you send links in the chat, but jump over to my Discord. Send me those links. I'd love to see it.
John says, by this point, we could have watched part 2.
I disagree. Mainly because I'd have to like do a bunch of stuff in the background to switch out videos and stuff. And
that's true. That's very true.
But instead, what we will do is call it a night. Start getting to bed here.
Sounds like a plan.
So everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for engaging in just a teensiest bit of what I hope was some largely neutral political talk. And I look forward to seeing you next week, absolutely, for part 2 of The War Without End. We'll see what predictions I made turn out to be right and how all of them ended up being wrong.
No time jumping to next Tuesday, but we'll see you then.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit that like button and share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you will, and be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified of all the updates I do on this channel. If you want to support the work I'm doing here, then I hope you'll consider becoming one of my Patreons, where you'll get early access to all kinds of videos. And until the next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.